Hello and welcome to another edition of Tommie Media's Tommie Chalk Talk, where we go beyond the box score and take a closer look at St. Thomas sports. I'm Jake Remes, alongside me Tom Pitzen. Tommie's coming off another strong week against Augsburg, and thus far have only been allowing 6.8 points defensively, and offensively we've been scoring over 50 per game. What's Glenn Caruso got going on these days?
Well, Glenn Caruso and his staff, Wally Kaczynski on the defensive side, have really drafted up great game plans. And they're getting contributions from key players and big players, for that matter. Anthony King-Foreman, I know we've touched on him before, has really stepped up and solidified that defensive line. And Jesse Addo, off that edge as a speed rusher, presents just very, very tough matchups for offensive tackles. Jesse Addo is very quick coming off that edge. And another player that's really stepped up his game this year is Ryan Winter on the defensive side. In that playoff game against Wartburg last year, he looked pretty overmatched. It was one of his first starts, but now he's really taken his game to the next level and become that power rusher that St. Thomas needs.
Well, Tom, it's right. There's been a lot of participation from a lot of guys across this defense, only allowing 6.8 points per game, though. Are they really as good as they seem, or is it more their opponents that haven't shown their true colors?
Well, I've wondered that. You look at teams like St. Olaf, you look at teams like La Crosse, Eau Claire, and we really dominated those teams. But then look at last week. Augsburg put up back-to-back 50-point games, and then against St. John's too. St. Thomas shut them down. I was just talking about that. I was saying, is St. Thomas really that good? We'll see in this Augsburg game. And I guess they clearly showed that, yes, they are that good.
Well, sure, and they have Hamline coming in this week, one of the weaker opponents they'll face. Is there a thermal vent that the Hamline Pipers can find on the metaphorical Tommie Death Star this year, Tom?
Well, Austin Duncan, the star running back for Hamline, is having an uncharacteristically down year. I think he's only had just over 300 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. That's not something that's, kind of expected to repeat itself, I guess.
Right.
I'm expecting at some point in the year he's going to kind of pick it up and become the Austin Duncan that we know, and that became one of the better freshman and sophomore running backs in the MIAC.
Sure. Well, we'll hope for a good tilt this weekend. If you have a question that you'd like us to discuss here on Tommie Chalk Talk, tweet it to @TommieMedia. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the next edition of Tommie Media's Tommie Chalk Talk.